What is going on, 49er faithful? We are back after I was gone for a week. As always, here with my guy Wolfie here on Tuesdays. How we doing, my guy?
Fantastic, man. Ready to talk some football and mock draft potential. I'm really excited about that, not gonna lie, because mock drafts are always fun to do. How about yourself, man? How was your 2 week break? How was that?
It was good, man. Was actually on a trip for a week in Singapore,
Oh,
so,
okay.
which
All
was
right.
pretty nice. But today I'm a little bit under the weather, but
Yeah,
um, I
yeah. It's
might
pretty
just
windy over
try to
here,
have.
so I feel you. It's got the
Yeah, I'm
change
probably
of
just gonna
seasons.
have some like vitamins, and then I probably go that way. It just doesn't get worse, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Gotcha.
but yeah, man. Pretty packed show today. As we're, if you're not sure what I meant by offseason plan or footprint, we're just gonna kind of look at how should the 49ers attack this offseason, and to the team that just won the Super Bowl that we should maybe look at to how this offseason should be going, even though the Niners may not, go with our plan, which
Mhm.
probably seems pretty likely just because every time we think the Niners are going to do something, they shock us. But
Yeah.
let's get into kind of the news because it's pretty big news, and I haven't heard you talk about this too much. But what are your first thoughts about the Brandon Staley looking like he's going to be gone to the Saints, and then also Gus Bradley hiring?
As for the Brand Staley thing, at least he's off our roster. He's no longer part of the situation. Like fans can actually rejoice in that, be a little bit happy that he's gone. No concerns of him being in control of anything. All the Nick Sorensen stuff, because he obviously was a defensive assistant. So all that Nick Sorensen vibe stuff is gone. And now the Saints can have him. That's fine with me. I mean, it doesn't really, I mean, he could end up being great for them. That was kind of the conversation we had prior. Like, if we didn't get Robert Saleh, it's probably going to be him in the end. So we're going to see exactly what kind of product he actually is as a defensive coordinator. So I'm kind of excited about that in that aspect where it's like, okay, what was he going to be for the 49ers potentially? Was he actually good? Could he actually keep with the new scheme these days that kind of switched between 22 and 23? Can he keep up with those schemes these days? Haven't been a defensive coordinator since 2020. As for Gus Bradley, I don't think it moves the needle for me. It doesn't really change the
Hmm.
game for me at all. When I looked up his defensive stats, whatever, when he was with the Colts for 3 seasons. What didn't impress me. But I do like the fact that he is good friends of Robert Saleh, so you know that they will actually mesh well. And whatever Robert Saleh has to say, he will listen. And I do like that. There's no friction. You don't have to worry about any friction, especially because they go all the way back to Pete Carroll days in Seattle.
Mhm.
So I like that aspect of it. But as for what he brings to the table, I don't know. I just know I didn't like what he did defensively with the Colts. But that's how I feel
Yeah,
about
I mean that Colts talent too is kind of weird, where it's like Buckner was kind of their main guy, and then it's like
it. Yeah.
a bunch of kind of guys. But I think this is a great hiring in my opinion because I would hopefully think, and we have to see how it goes throughout the like this next season, obviously. So this is not going to be answered for a few months, but I think coming from that Seattle defense and Pete Carroll, I think that's going to help because to me, that means you have two guys hopefully on the same page who understand the defense. Even though, like you said, okay, that Colts defense hasn't been great, but he's also had, I think, head coaching experience too a little bit.
Mm,
Um, and he's been around for quite a while too. Um,
true.
Even though he wasn't a successful head coach with the Jags, I believe it was. Again,
Yeah.
I think it's good that these guys have, that connection with one another. And also, the
That
most
veteran
important
mindset.
thing is Kyle Shanahan has to trust these guys, and I think he does. And that's my biggest thing is
True.
now Kyle Shanahan, I think, can focus on the offense, doesn't have to worry about, defense, special teams. But
No, like midweek meetings with the defense to help him out or
yeah.
anything like that. He could just focus solely on his scheme and stuff. So yeah, I agree with you on that. Another thing, just as a joke, but it might be a real thing, where Gus Bradley is familiar with DeForest Buckner, Robert Saleh is familiar with DeForest Buckner. Maybe
Mhm.
they can be like, hey, you want to get the hell out of Dodge and come over to the 49ers? I think that would be a nice little
I know
you if you
the
like Gus
thing is,
Bradley.
I don't like looking at pipe dreams, and that's why I'm not talking too much about the Myles Garrett thing. I'm just like, if it happens, awesome, but it's just there's no point in getting hyped and then being super disappointed. It's like, oh my
Yeah,
god.
because there is technically a under 10% chance you'd end up getting him because 31 other teams will be interested. So it's not like just you are going to be putting your
Mhm.
name in the hat. Your chances are like below 5%. I would even say that of even getting them. So I understand what you mean about pipe dream of getting the guy, but I do like the aspect of possibly getting him and stuff like that. But I can see what you're saying about. Well, I see what you
Yeah,
mean by
no,
pipe dream
I
for sure.
would definitely welcome one of those two. Again, I just don't want to overhype myself for disappointment. So, um,
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Don't
yeah,
set yourself up for failure, right? Like you're like
yeah,
this off season's already going super hype. It's already going super
mhm.
awesome so far. You don't want to be like you don't want to put too much on the
Yeah,
docket for it to be
exactly.
like,
It's like
okay,
if
well
I'm
we didn't
like
get
they
this.
need to
Now I'm
get
sad.
DeForest Buckner, bro, and then I'm gonna be like, God damn it, they have an L off season because they didn't get DeForest
Right.
Buckner. It's like just doesn't make
Take it
sense. But
as it
yeah,
comes, kind of
regarding the
thing.
Staley thing, I mean, I'm at least glad he's able to go get a job. As a defensive coordinator, it already sounded like they were gonna move off of him anyways, especially when Salah got hired because Salah's gonna bring in his own staff. But yeah, um, I
It
think that's
definitely
kind of the
seems
main
like that.
thing.
Like he's
Yeah,
he's focusing a lot. Like it does seem like Robert Sala's. Not only that, like I think he's the one that brought in the special teams coordinator as well. Like it seems like
yep,
it because he's from the Jets. So it does seem like whatever meeting they had, whatever meeting Kyle had with Robert Saleh was like, bring in
mhm,
whoever you want defensively. If you got a better special teams guy, bring him in. Uh, Whoever, literally, it seems like they're sharing the load. I understand that Kyle Shanahan is the head coach, but it seems like there's this co-head coach thing happening here where it's like he is all defense, and Kyle, yeah, he gets the final word. He has the main title, but one half is Solo, the other half is Kyle Shanahan's offense. So it kind of screams to me, and I don't want to get ahead of ourselves because we're talking about the future of the offense off season, but like Robert Saleh, you could definitely be confident when you say that he's going to have something to say when it comes to picking up free agents and the draft, just based on the hirings alone. You could tell that he
mhm.
has a lot of say in what's going to be done in this free agency and draft. So
Yeah.
just keep in mind that
Um,
whoever defensive player we end up drafting, it's Robert Saleh's
yeah, I think Robert
pick.
Saleh is gonna have the say, and he's gonna be like, okay, I feel comfortable with being able to develop this guy. And this draft class is absolutely stacked with, especially interior defensive tackles, which this is the year to do it. And luckily, the Niners have that need.
Mhm.
Other piece of news is that the Jacksonville Jaguars uh, interviewed 49ers director of scouting and football operations, Josh Williams. To me, this is big. I mean, because he's the director of scouting. And, I know the Niners don't do well in with drafts in the first round, first two rounds, even. But I think last year's draft was really good and they just do really well in the late rounds. So to me, this would be kind of a big loss. They have Ethan Wan, I think it is, as their interim GM or something right now with the Jags, who has connections with the Niners back in the day too. But the Niners would get 2 third-round picks for losing him because he's part of that minority
Okay, I didn't know
group.
that.
But
That's okay.
But
Two
yeah,
third round
to
picks.
me,
Okay,
this would
all
be
right.
a big loss. But what do you think about this?
I did a little bit of research on that because I think I did a video on it too myself. I think he's been around since like 2008 or 2010. He's been around for a long time. So, and we've had bad drafts since
Yeah.
that time period, especially with Trent Baalke. I can't remember, we had like 10
Oh
picks or whatever,
gosh.
one draft, and we missed on every single one of them. It was wild. But what I'm trying to say is, I just think John Lynch at the end of the day is the one that picks the players. I understand that he could have been like a key piece where we
And Kyle
were like, okay,
Shanahan, yeah.
in the end, but I don't think it's going to be a huge loss like that, where it's like, okay, this one man was responsible for all these steals that we end up getting, or he's responsible for the first round draft picks that we were duds on.
Mhm.
I'm not saying, and I'm also not saying it's a good thing that we're losing them because obviously the quality that we get later on the drafts, getting that one little percentage better in the drafts right, is always good. And you kind of lose that little bit of percentage. Hiring a new guy to take that spot, you don't know what that guy's going to be like in the end, and it could be very damaging to the draft. We don't know, but I just think that he's been around long enough. If he was here since like Kyle Shanahan was and when John Lynch was, then I'd be a little bit concerned because that sounds like he was a key piece to these drafts. But if he's been around for so long, it sounds to me that I'm going to trust more in what Kyle and John Lynch hire in that position compared to just letting some guy who's been around since Jim Harbaugh and Chip Kelly and Trent Baalke and all those days. So it could be a major loss, but I'm not too concerned. I just feel like we could replace that and be fine.
Okay, yeah. To me, it's just like I think having a guy that's been in the office for that long, having that experience is still big. And then the fact that, okay, even though he's not making the final decisions, that's John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, it's just you need people out there helping you with scouting. You know, that's why you have some teams have scouts and stuff, because it's like John Lynch and especially Kyle Shanahan don't got time to go scout.
Well, how many scouts
does
a team actually have, though? You know, like I actually don't even know that. Like,
so I know they have like an area scout, which is I think certain areas in the country, and they have multiple of those, I believe. Then they have like scouts for like scouting free agents, like NFL free agents, and then they also have like other draft scouts and stuff like that.
So it's like 20 personnel kind of type thing, scouting. If it's like 20, I'm not too concerned.
It's pretty big.
Like
I don't know if it's 20, but
okay.
Yeah, no, it's a good amount, I would say. But
Strawberry, I know that technically Saul didn't hire the special teams coach, but you can clear as day that he had influence. Just like you said,
sure
I think he gave
told
a good word.
Kyle Shanahan about him. So
so.
Let's see.
Who's this guy? Wolf needs to cheer. He needs to cheer up. What? Do I look upset? Do I look upset?
Oh my God! There was something else that. Hold up.
It's that resting bitch face. Sometimes it comes out.
Okay, I think that is it. But yeah, Niners officially gonna be hosting the Super Bowl.
Whoop, whoop. Let's go, baby. Hosting the Super Bowl. Let's go. All right.
Oh, he's saying I need to cheer up.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Wait till we sign someone, and then I'll cheer. Okay. You gotta. Well, what do you want me to?
Appreciate you
come on, we're coming off a bad season. Like, you want me to be happy, bro? Like,
you're smiling right now. You're smiling. You got some vibes,
exactly. Okay, real quick. Now, I don't know if there's too much from this clip, but it just showed up on my timeline regarding Brock Purdy. So let me just bring that up real quick.
He signed a contract? This is one way to break the news. Let's do it.
Unfortunately not. But,
unfortunately not? Okay.
Let me just share the screen real quick.
I was wrong about that prediction. I thought I was going to do it before the Super Bowl.
Sorry. Let me get rid of this.
Insiders.
Can you hear this?
Well, I would say, first of all, the timing.
Yeah, I can hear
it. You know, this is early comments. We're obviously early in the offseason. And yeah, I think a lot of teams say, you know what we'd like to do early in the offseason? Just cross off a big thing on the to-do list, big item on the to-do list. Let's just handle it early. And the 49ers have tried. I remember when they were trying to do George Kittle's contract, and they went really early in free agency to meet with his agent, try to get things done, and they got things done like 6 months later. And Brandon Ayuk, they wanted to get done early. Instead, they got done right around the start of the season. Can they get Brock Purdy done at a reasonable time when there's no hold in, there's no drama? They have not been able to for these big-time contracts. So I think that's one question that the 49ers are going to have to figure out / solve. The other thing for me is, and obviously this math problem, guys, is a little bit harder. Where does Brock Purdy fit in? Like, he's going to be a highly paid quarterback. That's not a question. But Dak Prescott's at 60. Does he eclipse Dak? Okay, well, if not, then you have 3 quarterbacks. You have Burrow, you have Jordan Love, you have Trevor Lawrence at 55. Does he eclipse them? If the question is, if his agent says yes and the 49ers say no, that's as big a problem as you could get with contract negotiations. And those are the kinds of things that can really halt things. So, yes, it's not a question of whether the 49ers want Brock Purdy as their quarterback. They absolutely do. Many, many, many teams would, but it's just where does he fit in the pecking order that makes this a
Okay.
Not really
Pecking
much,
order thing.
but again, I
Yeah.
hadn't watched it, but I was like, okay, maybe there's something
Yeah.
there. But I know there was a tweet yesterday that said that Shed York saw his Brock Purdy's agent
Kyle
walking.
Strong.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, hopefully they get it done because, I get it. Jimmy G at that time, they only had him. So it was like weren't paying really anybody else. But it'd be nice if they get this done. And I know Brock wants to get it done early. He said it after the season that he wants to be here for OTAs and have this done. So hopefully the Niners get this done. And I just think that you do want to get this done because then you kind of know what your plans could be in free agency. You know what the length you can give if you want to go sign a outside free agent, or even extend one of our free agents like a Dre Greenleaf if the Niners are willing to give him a multi-year deal, let's say. But yeah, I think hopefully they'll get it done early, but we don't know. Looking at that track record, it doesn't seem great.
Well, if you want to go based on that was something it's a lesson they could have learned based on everything they just went through, and obviously the result and what it cost them this year with Trent Williams even holding out. That was kind of a problem with Ayuk kind of holding out was kind of a problem there too as well. They signed DeAndre Lenore right off the bat. They got that out of the way. No one saw that coming. Everyone expected that to be an off-season issue, and that's no longer an issue anymore. And they got that done ready. Maybe they have learned their lesson. And being like, okay, we know what our priorities are and what we have to do immediately. We cannot just be like negotiate. Because in the end, we end up just signing a contract that he's going to get anyway. When it comes to Brock Purdy, though, and a quarterback, I feel like that is the kind of type of negotiation you kind of already had in your mind of where you were going to sign him and realistically wise. So you have like your bottom tier number, then you have like the obvious number you're going to give him. There's no way in any world they have not been preparing for this conversation since they had to have been starting this conversation. I mean, since last year, they had to have been thinking about this since last year, what they got to do. So this conversation could not have just started right now. Like if this conversation just started now and they just started thinking about it now, they're absolutely screwed. But I don't think they've done that because that would not be the smart thing to do. What I think they ended up doing is they've been doing this all year, thinking about what they have been paying them. They've been talking about we're going to pay this guy. This guy's going to be around a long time. So that kind of gives you the vibe that they have been doing this and been thinking about it for a while now. And if you really want to look back at what Jimmy Garoppolo is, they didn't fuck around there either. They didn't mess around either. They were like, let's get to sign this guy now. I think you said it was like he got signed the February of that year, right? I think something like that. He got signed February of that year. Why wouldn't you do this for Brock Purdy? It was the highest paid player at the time. Jimmy Garoppolo took a significant amount of the cap when you paid him that. So why wouldn't you do the same for Brock Purdy when he's going to do the same exact thing in the end? You should already have a blueprint of where you want to sign this. Not to mention with what Jed York has already said, he's already met with the agent last week. He's already done that. John Lynch and Kyle said that we want him long term. Kyle says he's going to be with me my entire career. With those kind of talks and what you're saying here, you're telling us that this is a major priority and this is something you're going to get done as soon as possible. Nothing tells me that they're going to, because like Ayuk's vibe and Ayuk's situation always kind of felt like this could last until draft. This could.
I mean, they also said we wouldn't mind playing him on the 5th-year option with Ayuk, and yes, you have Purdy for one this next season, but yeah, I think hopefully they get it done. I think usually around the combine is when things get done a little bit more, so maybe that's kind of
I think it's got to get done before. I think Brock Purdy wants it done before the first training camp, which I think is like I think what in the 14th or something
May?
like that. April. It's in April. There's a voluntary camp, I think, in April
before the draft.
Yeah, I think personally this gets done before I already said my prediction before, and I was wrong about that. I thought it was going to be done by the Super Bowl. But just based on the vibes here and what Jed York had to say, saying, hey, we want him long term, there's no way that they haven't had conversations of where they're going to meet in the middle, because the vibe would be different. Like you know that Jed York would come out and say something different than just being like, we're gonna keep him long term, we love him. He'd be like, we'll just have to make sure the money's right or whatever. It wasn't that. It was like absolute positivity and being like, this is getting done. And if that's the case, then that means this isn't going to drag. It can't. You cannot have your quarterback drag. You can have your wide receiver drag. You can have any other position drag, but you cannot have the quarterback drag. It'd be detrimental to your team. So
yeah, I mean, and like you mentioned, the whole like Trent Williams, Ayuk situation, you just saw what it did to you this season, and it's like,
yeah,
if you still have Super Bowl aspirations, it's like you cannot let this happen with your starting quarterback. But let's get now into the Deebo Samuel situation, which is more drama. Sounds like he has requested a trade. There's also been some rumblings that maybe the Niners just cut him post June 1st. Just so that dead cap isn't insane, which I feel like even if they get rid of him, it's like 32 million. Yes, I know that's a lot, but look at the damn Bills. I mean, they did it, and the Niners still have so much cap space. I think they'd be okay. But honestly, I don't know why the Niners restructured him in the first place. That was a dumb decision because now that makes it. Yeah. But personally, I think this is the right move for the 49ers. I think it's time to move off of Deebo. Yeah. Just production's been down. Just the way that this season 2 went with he's like saying, "Oh, give me the ball," and then we try to force him the ball, and it's like.
And to say he didn't have opportunities is wild.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know the whole vibes, and I just think the Niners need to move in a different direction, and also with Purdy, it's like you with all these other guys with Pearsall, your offense is shifting in a different direction, and I get it. Ayuk's probably gonna miss half of the year because it was more than
ready for training camp.
I don't know because the thing is, because the thing is, if it was just the ACL, I would say he could be ready by camp. But because it was the MCL and meniscus,
did Tom Brady come back after like 8 or 9? I think he came back, didn't he? Like after 8 or 9 months, something like that. He had an ACL, MCL injury. So did Gronk, I think, and they all came back, but before a year. So.
Hey, I mean, if he's back, let's say he misses the first 4 weeks or something, and he's back, I'll take it. But we'll see.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be. Look, this is the way I look at it. Okay, there's no way in any fucking world are you taking that $31 million cap hit and getting absolutely nothing out of it. There is no way. And what I mean by that is like you're not. Okay, this is what I would do if I was the 49ers. Okay, one. Okay. I would trade him after the June 1st because obviously the cap hit is lower. Okay, I am not cutting this guy. If he's going to be on my roster, then throwing a fit on the bench, and he's going to lose more money, get older, lose another year, and then that whatever that may be, fine. That's what's going to happen in the end. But I am not just cutting this dude straight up. I'm going to trade this guy after June 1st for a future 5th or 6th or 7th round pick, whatever it may be. A future one is fine. Some people will say, well, what about the 5th round pick this year? I'm sorry. We have 10 picks in this draft. I'm not concerned about a 5th or 6th round pick at that point. I'm concerned about my cap at that point because I have players to pay, players to sign, and I cannot afford this $31 million cap hit. I just feel like it would be a lot more beneficial to the team. It'd be a lot more beneficial for Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch if they would be like, okay, well, our cap hit is lower after June 1st. We'll trade you. We'll trade him to whoever for a 5th, 6th, or 7th round pick, or even 2 years from now, a 7th round pick. Get something out of it instead of just cutting him and you choose and you get to choose where he gets to go instead of just cutting him outright post June 1st. And guess what? He goes to the Rams. He goes to the Seahawks. He goes to the Cardinals. Goes to the Cowboys. Goes to the Eagles. I don't want to see that. I'm
sorry, damn Chiefs.
The Chiefs exactly. So I don't want to give him that control, especially after him throwing a hissy fit, complaining all the time, and then him going on some sort of revenge tour because we all know there's nothing more motivating than a chip on your shoulder, and that's exactly what he's going to go into it with because he already felt slighted this year. He already felt like this was a problem. So I'm going to be in control of the situation. I'm going to be in control of where he gets to go, and it's not going to be a rival. sure as hell not going to allow. That's why I would keep him after June 1st and not cut him. I would be like, okay, well then we're keeping you because we're not going to give you we're not going to allow you to go somewhere else with this revenge tour and dominate, and then we face you twice a year and be the reason why we lose to you. Because even if he turns out to be great for another team, right? He's not great for us. It's kind of the Jake Moody thing. Like he could get cut and be great somewhere else, but he's just not great for us. Debo can go on his revenge tour, play fantastic, and then people will be like, oh, we should have kept him. The reason why he would play so good and play so hard is because we cut him. Is because he feels like we slighted him. That's the
and I think Debo knows the Niners are probably going to ask him for a pay cut, and then he also probably just like, I'm done. Let me just have a fresh start. Now, the thing is, I know you said you don't want him to get cut, and I totally understand that because it would be nice to get value for him. But the nice thing is if you do cut him, you don't have to actually wait till June 1st to cut him. Because if you remember what they did with Eric Armstead, they cut him basically right near free agency with a post-June 1st designation.
That's right.
So for the trade, from what I've heard, they can't do that with the trade. Like they can't do a post-June 1st designation trade. It would just have to happen after June 1st. But again, with a release, they could just designate it to June 1st, post-June 1st.
Wouldn't you have that fear, though, of like, that's
oh,
smart.
no.
That way you can use that.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying is like
rival and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying, and I totally agree there. But I'm just saying, like, out of the whole options, like,
yeah, I didn't think about that. That's actually a good point. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, if I think it's a day 4 pick.
Yeah.
Value wise for Debo, I'd be shocked if it's. Yeah, I'd be shocked if it's anything.
Yeah, anything higher. And it's, I don't know why some people say a 3rd or a 4th rounder. That'd be wild. If we can get a 3rd or a 4th for the guy, do it. That's worth the $31 million. I think at that point, that kind of.
I mean, if it's
that kind of trade was worth it.
If it's a 5th that can turn into a 4th, I'll take that too. Like
something like that. I would be okay with the $31 million cap hit for only one situation. Really, is either we get a 3rd round draft pick. That's fine. That's kind of worth that. So you get a value player. You can get a starter there. 49ers are known for getting starters there. That's fine. Let's do that. You can recycle that pick into another wide receiver if you wanted to, because kind of replace the position entirely if you wanted to. But I would be only interested into it really if we packaged him so that we get something bigger. So like for a Myles Garrett, for example, a Trey Hendrickson, if they decide to franchise
Joey Bosa or something.
Joey Bosa, for example. I'm fine if he's packaged, or if we take the 11th pick and Debo and move up in the draft, that's fine. But if it's just a 5th or 6th or 7th round pick, if it's just something like that, I would just wait. I would just wait until after June 1st to do it, because that's not a priority pick. That's not something that's where you're guaranteed more of a starter. You're not getting a pick of the steals at that point. It's very rare you actually turn a 5th, 6th round, 7th round pick into an actual starting piece. You know what I mean? And it's just not worth it for a 5th or 6th round pick. And none of that, you get more draft next year, and it'll be a 5th round pick next year. 10 picks in this draft. Like it would be, I just feel like if we had like 4 or 5 draft picks, right? I understand that. Got to get more pieces, more lottery tickets. I get that. But you have 10. 10. That's a lot, dude. That means one of them is most likely going to get cut. Like, I mean,
yeah. And then if you do end up losing Josh Williams, like we were talking about earlier, you'll get a pick for that too.
You get a 3rd round pick next year, and the 3rd round pick next year after that. I think that's how it goes. But yeah. That's how I feel like. I think it's also wild that. Sorry, but I just think it's wild that he truly believes that he did not have the opportunities. I don't understand that. What makes you? I understand that you didn't get as many targets, but 51 targets is good enough to know how good you were. It's good enough to know exactly how much.
And then once you got hurt, like you had the opportunity.
You were the man.
Yeah.
Like what?
But
I don't understand. Oh, not to mention the Rams game. The Rams game, you were the priority. When every fucking 49ers fan and their mom was saying, don't make him the priority. And you ended up doing that. And we lost because of him. I'm so confident in saying that. I know there's more came into it, that Brock Purdy pick at the end. some scheme issues here and there, but that drop, I really feel like when that dropped in the third quarter really shot Purdy down. Was like, no one's like, because JJ was dropping
I don't
balls.
remember what game it is, but it's like sometimes he drop it and then it turns into an interception. It's like,
oh yeah, constantly go through his hands and some shit.
Yeah.
It's like, catch it.
was it the Chiefs game or something that it went like
Packers? It was against the Packers. He had like two of those. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
His balls never but his balls never bounced like to the ground. They would always pop. They always bounce up into the air. It's like I don't know how that happens, dude. Like his balls do not go to the ground. They just boing. Brutal, dude.
Alrighty, yeah, we'll definitely see for sure. But yeah, definitely interesting situation with a guy like Deebo Samuel. If I'm the Niners, move off of him.
Yeah. I mean, if there's an opportunity, move off from him wherever you can. But at the end of the day, I just don't. I'm trying not to sound like Deebo when I say that. I hate saying at the end of the day. That's like the most go-to Deebo thing. Because I don't know if you ever watched his show, he always says at the end of the day. He's like, at the end of the day, this is what you got to do at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, I did everything I can at the end of the day. It's just like, stop it. I'm sorry to inherit
him
that.
Like going on his podcast and stuff, I think also tanks his value. Like,
yeah, he did do like for some reason podcasts, man. Him and Mike Parsons, not the way to go.
Did you see that apparently the Jets were telling Rodgers that he can't? I don't know how true it is, but I saw a rumor saying that the Jets told Rodgers that he can't go on the Pat McAfee show.
Straight up, dude. Tell him that. Yeah, take control of your team. I'm all for it. Sick of that shit. He goes on that show, man, and just spills the beans of everything. And then not only that, I hate Aaron Rodgers, so I'm trying my best not to go on huge right here. But he just throws everyone under the bus except for him, and then goes on some sort of psychedelic conspiracy theorist trip. I cannot stand the man. He's fucking bonkers. And not only that, he throws his team on the bus when he goes bonkers. And then he contradicts everything else that the coaches say in the meetings. So it's just it's not even my team, and it frustrates me. It's the Jets. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Drives me nuts, dude. But I like that. I like
Deebo hasn't really. Yeah, and Deebo, like, he hasn't really been in shape. Like, that's the thing too. He's like, "Oh, I'm in the best shape of my life," and it's like, okay, I'm not gonna say that because he got sick, but I'm just saying, like, aside from that, it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that was the one. He had pneumonia though, and I think that's what caused him to inflate. Was because when that happens, your body retains everything. Yeah, so everyone was poking fun about that, and I was like, I don't know, that could just because he was.
Yeah, but I'm saying in like general too, the last few years he hasn't really been in shape the best.
2023, he was not in shape, but he didn't play bad in 2023. But you were like, you would play better if you were a little more in shape. And then he says, I got in a lot more shape. Every content creator and their mom was like that went and saw him at the training camp was saying he's in great shape. Look out for Deebo. He's gonna have a great year.
Videos of him doing the boxing like workouts and stuff with the
type freaking. And you're like, yeah, okay, all right, it's a nice edit, buddy. All right, just show it on the field, and which he didn't do. So,
but alrighty, let's get into the meat of this show. Because we're already 35 minutes almost into here, but what is the 49ers plan and footprint this off season? Let's first start with the footprint. And again, what I mean by that is there is the Philadelphia Eagles, who I think the Niners need to basically copy. Because if you look at Philly, they just absolutely won in the trenches. And just looking at the Niners this last season too, you just saw that the trenches, man.
It kind of was like that. That should be us being that deep, that dominant.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. And it's just like the thing is, a lot of these guys we have, other than Nick Bosa, it's a bunch of rotational depth guys.
Literally all rotational. Some even third pieces, like third depth, not like second. or anything like that. Yeah.
Like, I know Collins played fairly well. Floyd started playing well, but to me, they're both rotational pieces still. So to me, like I mentioned at the beginning of this, defensive tackle is a deep class. Niners need to use 2 picks on it, because I looked at this free
Two.
agency class. Yes, I said 2. Yes,
What about
because looking at
one D tackle free agent and then one in the because you
okay,
also think
so
of free agency.
free agency wise, I was looking. There's only 2 guys that I would consider, and I don't know if they're starters
I got
still.
4. I got 4. 4 D
There's
tackles. I think
BJ
for us now.
Hill. There's BJ Hill of the Cincinnati Bengals, and then there's old friend DJ
Ray
Jones,
Jones.
who
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would bring back. But again, I think he's a rotational
He's
guy. So
rotational. Yeah, he's well the thing is you gotta think of like D tackle now. D tackle position, like you said, there's like 2 usually on the line, right? Especially on a 4-3. You know, even on a 3-4, there's usually sometimes even 2 D tackles in a 3-4. But he's technically a bottom half starter kind of type deal, somewhere around the 58th, 59th, based on PFF, because I did some research on through PFF. He's ranked around there, like just bottom 64-ish area as a D tackle. So he could still be a starter in our lineup in the second spot as a second D tackle, because like 1 through 64 would be technically the case of that. But yeah, I wouldn't mind bringing him back, but I would not be satisfied. I agree with you at that point. You still need to address D tackle and start going at it, because it's not like he's a bona fide top 32 kind of type D tackle. So I would be interested in bringing him back. I actually kind of like DJ Jones, but just not. I wouldn't be satisfied. I wouldn't be like, oh my god, top tier cheap guy. Yeah, no, I'll use that.
And then I know other people are saying in your center, yes, get rid of Jake
Drew
Brendel.
Dolman.
Yeah, Drew Dahlman. Apparently, he was the backup to the other guy that we have on our roster currently, Hennessy, Matt Hennessy.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting. So
that is interesting.
And I know Hennessy's on a 2-year deal, so.
Yeah. So I mean, they kind of addressed the center a little bit there. Like, there's hopes for Hennessy. I'm not saying like be satisfied with Hennessy, but there's hopes that he could actually be a starter. I know that Drake Nugent was supposed to be a project, but again, he's just a project. That's not something you can rely on actually being the starter. But coming back to the D tackle situation, there's some D tackles I like. For example, Tier Tart from the Chargers. He's 27 years old, and according to PFF, he's like I have the rankings here. He was 19th in pass rushing with a 75 grade, and he was 69, nice, and 21st in run stopping grade. So he was 21st, 19th, and he had a 17th overall D tackle grade. So he's technically a starter. And that's the case. If he's anything like that, I think that would be a great signing. And I think he'd be relatively – I'm not saying he'd be cheap, but he won't ask for top-tier money because obviously he's not a top-tier D tackle, right? So you'd still feel it. You'd still have one of the 32 starting D tackles in the league. Another guy I like is from the Lions, Levi Anawuzurike. I think that's what his name was.
I think he Levi Anawuzurike, I think he used to play for the Cowboys as well, if I'm not.
Could. He's 26 years old. But he's phenomenal too. He's somewhere ranked between like PFF has him ranked as a 33rd ranked D tackle with 40. I have it. He's 46th in in pass rushing, and 41st in pass rushing. And keep in mind, both these guys are better than DJ Jones and ranked higher than him. And if you really look at his stats, man, he had really good stats for a D tackle that was technically rotational with 31st in snaps and defensive snaps as a D tackle. He had 21 solo tackles, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 29 hurries, 13 hits, and 45 pressures as a D tackle that only had 31st in defensive snaps. So I like both. I like Tart and I like Anawuzurike. I like BJ Hill too because he is a vet and you can rely on him in the run game for sure. DJ Jones, I like him just because of the familiarity, but I wouldn't be satisfied with that. But the other 3, I'd be more satisfied for sure. A center I like is Coleman Shelton. He was a center for the Rams in 2023. Then he became a center for the Bears. And I know that sounds bad because the Bears had a terrible line, but apparently he had a really good grade this year, and he was actually a starting center this year. just like back in like 20-ish, 20 between somewhere between there. I think 19th actually. He was an undrafted free agent of the 49ers in 2018. And then he was a project coming in and out. And then in 2023, he was a full-time starter, played good for the Rams as a center. And then he played center for the Bears, and he played really good for them too. So that's kind of an underrated signing you give him. And he has no injuries. So he hasn't been hurt all year last year.
Wait,
So
sorry, what was his name again?
Coleman Shelton.
Oh, yes, I remember this guy. Okay.
Yeah, so that's someone you can get under. And also Ryan Kelly. I know he has a lot of injury issues, neck and I think he has a neck and back issue. So that's like a little injury prone. Want to stay away from him, but he is a stud center when he's on the field. So there's not many centers to really pick from this year on free agency.
Yeah, I think if the Niners can go sign Drew Dahlman in free agency, and then you go draft offensive tackle and a left guard, and like you hit on those two, I mean, that offensive line.
So good, dude. Honestly, guard. There's a lot of guards in this draft too. I don't think there's that many tackles, to be honest with you. There's tackles that they're hyped about. There's hyped tackles which aren't the same, but there are some guards in this draft that are stacked. Like Will Campbell is a tackle, but he's supposed to be a guard in the NFL.
But he can also play a guard, yeah.
And then Armand Membu is supposed to be a guard that can play right tackle. Apparently,
what is it? Missouri guy?
Yeah, he's the Mizzou guy. Yeah. Armand Membu.
I know the SF Niners Brad was mentioning that he actually sees Banks more of an interior guy, so rather than
Kelvin Banks. Yeah, I don't like Kelvin Banks at all, to be honest with you. I've been talking shit about him like from the get. When you watch him play, dude, he looks terrible. Like when there's nobody in front of him, like a guard, like a tackle supposed to prepare for like every kind of stunts or whatever.
Yeah.
When there's no one in front of him, he like drifts off and like tries to find somebody. His arms are just out here. And it just he looks lost. I do not like Kelvin Banks whatsoever. I'm not a fan. I don't understand the hype. I understand where he came from, Texas wise, but I don't get it. He also doesn't fit the scheme of the 49ers. He doesn't have that outside zone run.
Outside zone scheme, yeah.
So
man, but I think off trenches, man. That is the big thing that they need to do on both sides of the ball. Another edge rusher. Because the thing is, everybody else, Drake Jackson, Kalia Davis, Robert Beal Jr., who else?
I didn't like him out of the draft either. I know he's a 5th round pick, but I didn't believe in him from the start.
Yeah.
People bragged about him, but I didn't see it.
I know they're like the GTFO, the get off is so good.
Yeah, everyone's bragging about the get off. Like it's like D4 get off, except for he's good. He's gonna be great. And it's like, no, dude, shut up, stop it.
Yeah. I feel like I'm forgetting someone else. But anyways, it's just like you just look at those and read those names, and it's like not good. Yes, happy belated birthday to Pterodome. I believe it was yesterday.
Happy birthday to you, Pterodome.
Let's go.
Turn in the big 4-0.
But yeah, trenches. I think out of the free agents, I wouldn't mind if Greenlaw's back on a 1-year type of deal. I think you can move off of Hufanga. Don't re-sign him. I know a lot of people like Huff, but I think you can.
He doesn't have that speed, and he needs speed.
Yeah,
that's
Banks. No, I don't see the Niners paying him anyways. See, I think Kevin Givens is probably back because I know they like.
They like him a lot. He's like a favorite. It's kind of like Brendel. They have certain favorites. So they're going to be part of.
Okay, but he's at least better than Brendel.
Yeah. You're like, calm down, man. But as I'm saying, the love for the guy. If you actually go look at his grade, he didn't have that good of a grade according to PFF. He was like really back end. He's not that good. But I do agree. Like trenches, coming back to the whole trenches thing, that as the D-line scenario, that's what the one thing I thought of when I didn't watch the Super Bowl. Right, I didn't watch it. I stayed away from it. But everyone hyped up the sacking and I saw the highlights and stuff. And I was like, that's what the 49ers have been wanting since Kyle Shanahan's been here, since John Lynch has been. This is something they've been wanting for a long time. And I felt that too. I was like, man, we need to have that dominant because that's what stopped Patrick Mahomes. That's what made Patrick Mahomes look normal. It wasn't some defensive scheme. It wasn't just a defensive scheme. It was that D line constantly making him uncomfortable and that O line not standing a chance. And so I think this just reinforces every argument to be like, okay, get back to what you wanted to do back in 2020, where you failed with Kinlaw, and then you kind of got away from it a little bit from there. I understand that they signed Hargrave, but they signed him as just a pass rusher. He was not a bona fide D tackle
run
kind of
stop
type.
over you.
That was the disappointing thing. Was like, I understand that pass rush is important, but why are you setting D tackle as your pass rush? Pass rush is not the main thing a D tackle does. That's not its main objective. So I don't understand why they thought, okay, let's just put pass rush as a priority at the D tackle position, but completely ignore the run stopping. That's what they did, and I do not understand that. And they were comfortable with a defender having only one great aspect to his game while not having both, or
you
not
look
having
at
the most important thing over the secondary thing.
Yeah, and you look at the guy that they signed last offseason from the Cleveland Browns. Why can't I think of his name?
Oh yeah.
Jordan Elliott. There we go.
Yeah.
Jordan
He wasn't that
Elliott.
bad.
It was like,
he was all right.
I mean, yeah, he was all right, but it's like, dude, everybody was like, oh, he's gonna be good at stopping the run, and it was like,
When he's on the field, he wasn't on the field that much. I don't think he was in the field that much, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think he got hurt, didn't he?
Yeah.
Went to IR.
I don't remember if he went to IR. Maybe he did once or something. But anyways, yeah, all these defensive guys either are mid as fuck or just rotational pieces, and they need to invest heavily. It's so funny because everybody's like, why do we keep drafting defensive linemen? We need offensive linemen. And then finally, this is the year where people are like, okay, we need defensive linemen too. It's like, it's crazy.
Well, because you think that's something they would take care of in 2023 and
no, I know.
The start 2024 been like, D tackle, this guy could do this guy do. When Hargrave was signed, even I was a little bit skeptical at the time. I was like, I understand that but you paid him a lot of money for I think he was 31 or some shit when we signed him. He was older guy. Let him go to Cleveland Browns because that's where he was going to go. Originally, he was going to get more money from the Browns. Like, okay, well, if you can't have him, then nobody can have him, right? Because if he goes to Browns, his career's done. So just let him go to the Browns. And it's not like he was some top 5 D tackle. He had one incredible year with the Eagles who had weapons on their D line to make him better. That's the thing is like, if you were going to have Hargrave, you better have had the supporting cast so that he can rush the passer. And you didn't have that. You didn't have the run stoppers to do that. You were like, let's just make the whole line pass rush and hopefully it works out. And in 2023, you didn't have it. And in 2020, well, I guess 2023, they kind of did with was Menahu on that squad? I don't think he was.
Menahu, was.
There was one where we had like solid depth.
Yeah, we had like Arden Key and stuff too. Ibukam.
Yeah. So I just think that we need to go all in on trenches. And I feel like the 49ers are doing that. I feel like I got the vibe that they also are on board with the fans and saying, yes, look at what the Eagles did. It didn't matter who the quarterback was or them having an average line. They were able to disrupt Patrick Mahomes and beat him dominantly. And I mean, make him look average as fuck. Honestly, make him look like Nathan Peterman. They made him look like Nathan Peterman.
No.
So I think that everyone else you draft to, like well, we need corners, we need safety. Fuck that, because clearly if you just have the D tackles and you have the edge rush depth, you can make those corners and safeties look fucking phenomenal. You can make the linebackers look
well, I'll say we do still need like a slot corner and and a safety as well. But yeah, I agree. Like, they need to invest heavily on the trenches, offense, defense.
Yeah, but it comes D tackle, D end.
Yeah, no, I know.
Like, still needs, but
I agree. It's lower on the pecking order of needs. But yeah, I think, man, they need to hit on this draft once again. I don't know. This free agency class is, to me, okay. I do like Sweat, who's like only 26, 27 from the Eagles. So if the Niners could sign him, I'd be very happy.
He's gonna. I think he's asking for too much money, though. I think it's super
Yeah,
expensive.
I
I
mean,
wouldn't mind
we'll
having him.
see how much.
What's his?
Yeah,
What was his stats? Hold on.
like 6.5 sacks or something.
Type in stats. Sorry. He had 8 sacks this season,
Josh Sweat.
and
Okay,
then
it
he
was
had 2.5 in
8.
the Super Bowl. So I wouldn't want to pay too much for the guy. I don't think he's a top tier pass rusher. I think that's a lot of. I think it's just a lot of hype because you got. I'm not saying I'm not trying to down Josh Sweat, but
Mhm.
I'm not going to look too much into the depth of the Eagles D line just because we did that with Hargrave and look what it got us. Now, if you look at just how much did Sweat benefit from Jalen Carter? How much did he benefit from Milton Williams? How much did he benefit from Graham being on that field?
Well, I
Because he
mean,
didn't
the
have any
thing is,
sacks in that playoffs until Graham showed up.
yeah, I mean, he's been
So
good the last few years though. Like he's been pretty consistent. Um, but I'm not saying he'd be the only one. Again, I agree. Like you would have to put some guys around him. Um, but I wouldn't mind that. Offensive line, I think they'll probably go more in the draft. Hopefully.
Well, there's not. Yeah, I agree with that. There's not that many offensive linemen in free agency either. I looked at tackles, and there's like one from the Rams, Alaric Jackson.
Yeah.
He's okay, but outside of that, there's
And
no
then
good
there's
tackle.
Jenkins from the Bears, who I know he was good, even though I know
He's a
the Bears
guard.
line isn't
Yeah.
great. But yeah, he's a guard. Um, but yeah, definitely would love for them to look at this trenches. You know, if they do get rid of Debo, then yeah, they're probably gonna have to go get another receiver. At first, I heard all these T. Higgins and Adams rumors, and I was like, that made zero sense to me. And I'm like, okay, now I kind of see a little bit of why it makes sense, even though I think T. Higgins is gonna get $30 million per year or close to it. So I don't see him being a Niner. I think there's probably like the Patriots, Raiders. Maybe he goes back to the Bengals, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't because I checked the cap hit for Devontae Adams. He's like $30 million. So
Well,
you're doing
they
the same
would
thing with
cut
T.
him.
Higgins.
Well, the Jets are probably going to cut him, it sounds like. So
They're gonna come. I heard he's looking for a possible trade, but if he gets cut and then you could sign him, that's different because obviously you'd offer cheaper money than
well,
that.
it sounds like the
I'm not
Jets are
paying
going to
$30 million
release
for
him. Yeah, no, I agree. It sounds like the Jets are going to release him, and then like his preference apparently is the West Coast, but
Yeah, I heard it's 3 teams. It was the Rams, 49ers, and Chargers. That was the rumor. But I'm all for signing Devontae Adams. I just don't want to sign him for $30 million. We don't need a priority wide receiver like that. We may need some depth at wide receiver, but that's exactly what we need: depth. We don't need a guy like T. Higgins or Devontae Adams who are going to ask for number one money or potentially be the number one option. You want to get a guy who's super fast, who can catch the ball, nothing too crazy, that's not going to ask for a lot of money, depth wide receiver. All these, and I don't mean to point like fingers, but there's like a few content creators out there that are big, like the big ones saying, hey, we need to go get T. Higgins. We need to go get Devontae Adams. And it's like you're thinking way too big for the need that we need. All right. We have more needs, like we just talked about, with the O-line and D-line. That is your big
and
money
then
ticket.
tight
That's
end
where you
too that somebody mentioned.
backup tight end would be nice. I mean,
or Terrell mentioned it. Yeah.
that would be more important than a wide receiver. That would be a backup tight end would be more important than a wide receiver depth. To put $30 million into a guy that isn't going to be your number one option, or it's going to bury Pearsall down the depth chart and Ayuk down the depth chart, is not the way to go. There's only one football, dude. It's not like you can just satisfy everyone on the field and then get your $30 million worth of this guy and then $30 million worth of this guy. Then you get the first round draft pick worthy of this guy. You're not going to be able to do that. You need to spread it out. I understand it's great. It's awesome to have riches. It's awesome to have a ton of skill players. But if you're going to pay money, it better be because you need a number one, not because you like to have 4 or 5, a fourth wide receiver who's going to be the 5th option. That's not what you do. And I understand Debo being gone, but Debo didn't really I feel like with the injuries that we had, with Pearsall being gone most of the year, Ayuk being bad, and then having to be out for the rest of the year, stuff like that, relying on Juwan Jennings, your 3rd option, and then your 4th option, sadly, is Kittle. That's pretty much how he's used on this offense, is a 4th option, let's be honest. And Debo being forced to the number one option. But Pearsall has shown up where it looks like he can be a number one option. Ivey's coming back fully healthy where he can look like a number one option. It doesn't make sense to go out and put $30 million on the line for someone who's got to want to be a number one option.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't make any sense. I hate that conversation with the passion, the T. Higgins, Devontae Adams. It drives me nuts. But I'm all
it's
for
another one of those pipe dreams about Myles Garrett and Max Crosby.
Myles Garrett would be nice. We do. That's when it comes to Myles Garrett though. When it comes to Myles Garrett, that's actually not only a top 3 position in the NFL, that is also a glaring need. That is a number one DM.
I 100%. No, I 100% again. Like I mentioned earlier at the beginning of this, I just don't want to set my.
Don't want to put this on. Dude, when it happened, man, I literally I was walking my dog and I was like, all right, we're turning around. I gotta make a video now. I was so excited when he requested a trade. I was like, he requested a trade. Let's make it happen. Even though I knew deep down, like, there's really a low chance we'd end up getting the guy. So, but anyway.
But alrighty, to end off the show, we're gonna do a mock draft. I think what we'll do is we'll switch each pick. I'll let you go with the first pick. So let me.
Give me the 11th pick. You want to give me the? I don't think you can do the 11th pick if you want. Or
no, next week we'll switch it to where I'll pick first.
Okay. All right. That works. Works for me.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick a kicker.
Let's do no trades, I guess, for now.
Works for me. I don't like doing trades either because that's so random.
Make it fast so we can get this done. Alrighty, here we go. Okay, we're rejecting. Alrighty, who are we taking here? Let me know if you want me to click on a certain position. Here, I can try to make it a little bit bigger. 1 second.
All right, so this one's going to be we lost 49er Media. The last time I did a mock draft, welcome back. The last time I did a mock draft, I moved on from Mason Graham and traded back. I don't think Mason Graham's going to fall this far, so I don't understand this. Because, like, for example, if you go look at the list, like Mikael Williams is not going to go above him. Nick Scorton will not go above him. James Pierce is not going to go before him. Will Johnson, of course, will make it. Malik Starks is not going to do it. Will Campbell's not. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Mason Graham won't be here. Yeah. But since we have a need at D tackle, we're going to go ahead and draft the guy who's supposed to be a bona fide starter. I'm not as big as a fan of Mason Graham as everyone else makes him out to be. I do like him. I do think he's going to be great, but people talk about him as if like he's going to be generational or like he's going to be like you have to draft him because he's going to be like a top 5 D tackle in the league. I don't see that kind of I don't see that from Mason Graham at all. So, but people love him. It's the hype, and at least we get a D tackle, someone who we do expect to start. So I don't even have to think about it. I don't even have to look at anything else. Mason Graham is the option here. We're going to take Mason Graham at the 11th pick.
All righty. Coming up at the 43rd pick. Again, we're rejecting all trades. Okay. The other Michigan defensive tackle is there. Again, we did take Mason Graham. I'm going to see what tackles. Not the best.
Yeah.
Okay. Tight end. I like this guy, Harold Finion Jr. I also like a Mason Taylor.
I love Harold Finion Jr. He's my favorite tight end. I actually like him more than Tyler Warren.
Let's see. Anybody on the edge? Ooh, Shamar Stewart. That's a good one.
Jack Sawyer is cool too. I'm not a fan of Shamar Stewart. I'm his biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk, kind of type hate. It's your pick, so I'm not telling you what to do.
I love TJ Sanders too, man, but
there's a lot of hype for Landon Jackson these days. I think he's all right. I don't think he's better than Jack Sawyer. I like Jack Sawyer a lot more, but he's a
linebacker. Any corners or safeties?
There's a 4th round linebacker I'm absolutely in love with, Stutzman. So,
alrighty, I'm gonna just go with. I don't know too much about Shamar Stewart, but he's just the best edge guy available. I think he probably does fit our scheme though. So I am gonna take him.
Dude. Oh, that hurts my soul. That hurts my soul, brother.
Reject. Well, I honestly would accept this because we're only moving down one spot and we're giving up a
Yeah, that's
fifth.
actually not that bad. Next year, fifth though. But we don't accept trades, so let's just
We'll just reject that.
Let's
Alrighty.
go. All right, so we got D tackle and we got edge. All right. Do you want to do what we did on a recent? What I did was like we picked a free agent. So for example, like a center. So that way we don't have to address center in the draft, or a guard or whatever. So that way we don't have to address that, because there's going to be positions addressed in free agency, right? Like there's going to be
Okay, let's
one or
say
two.
center is filled up.
Center's
Let's
addressed.
say we
Okay.
go. Yeah, let's say we go sign Drew Dahlman.
So far we got an edge, D tackle. Let's look at the guards. Frazier, dude. Let's look at tackles.
Okay.
If Grazabell's on there, ooh, dude, at 40, that's 40, 75. Let's do Grazabell. I'm already sold. That
Yeah, I
dude
know
can play
people been
center and
hyping
tackle
him.
and guard.
I've been
I'm a big
hearing
fan.
people hyping him up. All right, reject. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Let me look at the tight ends real quick. Oh, I do like Gunnar Helm because he's good blocker, pretty good receiver.
I heard Gunnar Helm's the best blocking tight end in the draft. I've heard.
Give me him.
Yeah,
I'm running up to the podium on that one.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I like that one. What's the next? All right.
Let me know if you want me to go look at a position or.
Oh, it already moved up to the pick? Okay.
Yep.
Let's go to linebacker.
Okay.
Oh, Danny Stutzman, dude. Oh my God. We're going Danny Stutzman. Actually, hold on. So we got what? We got tackle who can play guard, center, and he plays tackle, center, and guard. We got a tight end.
Got an edge. Yep, tight end, edge, defensive tackle.
So I mean, we got a lot of trenches. I mean, I think we're good on trenches. I kind of think that Nikibos as cornerback or safety. Actually, yeah, who's left on safety before I pick Stutzman? Because that's kind of my steal, to be honest. Billy Bowman. Malachi Moore is a favorite to some, but I feel like we can get.
They'll probably get him at the next pick, maybe.
Yeah, what's the next pick? I think it's like 30 something though.
138.
It's either between Malachi Moore, because I actually kind of like Malachi Moore. I don't know how fast is. How fast is Malachi Moore? I know what Terradome would know.
No, I'm not sure because we won't know his 40 till probably the combine and stuff. So,
hold on. There's a draft buzz. They give you a 40 time. He has a 4.5 speed.
So that's what they're projecting.
Dude. Andrew Makuba from Texas would have been nice, but he's already taken off the board. Man, I don't know enough about safeties at this point to really tell you which one. It's definitely between Malachi Moore and that linebacker. I love that linebacker too a lot. Do I take the stud linebacker or do I take the safety? What's the best option so far? Like who's still on the board on the all? Elijah Aurora, tight end. We were good on tight end. Wide receiver, Prather, Bowman.
Billy Bowman's there.
What's his
103
profile? What's his profile? There's no profile. Okay, well, he's one.
Yeah, I think because they wait for the.
Tara says Billy Bowman is good. Go safety, get Bowman. How is he fast? That does matter to me. So, how fast is he?
4.47.
4.47 speed.
Yeah. Or sorry, 4.38.
He's a 4.38 speed. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll take it because we need a side-to-sideline safety, and he's the best on the board according to
Okay.
this. So we'll do that. We'll do that just because of the need. Linebacker, I know Greenlaw is not going to be there. I understand Greenlaw potentially won't be there, but like it's not that big of a need. Let's be honest. A fast free safety is way more important.
Okay, so we got back-to-back picks here. So let's see.
My running back, one of my favorite running backs is available.
Okay, so they're saying. Wait, you said what?
My
Oh,
favorite
running
Ollie
back.
Gordon II. I fucking love
Mm,
that running back. That's actually my sleeper running back in this draft. A lot of people are not big on him, but I'm huge on that running back. He's so good.
hmm. Yeah, the thing is, dude, I don't know much about any of these guys because I haven't really looked
What position
much.
are you looking for?
Ooh, okay, but I know we already were saying we signed a center in free agency, but I think Jake Majors from Texas would be a good guy to like develop.
I'm definitely not against that, just because like you need more offensive linemen. You can't get more than that. Like I like Zabel and he can play all three positions, but he can only play one position at a time, right? So you're either gonna have, if you move him to tackle, guard, or whatever it may be.
Let me see.
Majors is hyped. He is a hype so that's not too bad. Tyler Cooper, no, that's Booker. Never mind, I got him mixed up.
It is. It's Tyler Cooper. Okay. I don't know too much about these tackles.
Was it Majors? I thought Majors was his tackle, isn't he?
Nah, he's a center. Let me see.
Majors got to be better than Brendel. Says Terror. Possibly, for sure.
Ooh.
Jordan Phillips from Maryland.
Mm.
You like him? I mean, we do need more D tackles and more edge, technically speaking.
Trey Moore. I know there was a guy I was watching earlier, but I don't know if it's that guy, so I need to. Okay, it was Trey Moore. Yeah, I like this guy, Trey Moore from Texas. It's going to be a little bit of a reach, but I'm afraid he won't be there at 189, so I'm going to just
do it, man. Pull the trigger.
Alrighty, you are on the clock.
So we got two edges, one D tackle. And technically, Shamir Stewart can play inside as well. He's a tweener, so he can play D tackle as well. So I think we're good on D line at that point, especially considering I think we're going to sign a D tackle too. So I think we'll be good. Safety, we're good at. Corner, we can use a corner. I haven't done enough studying on corners yet. I've done more trenches, so I know a lot more about trenches than I do corner. I'm thinking about SpongeBob is better than SpongeBob. Might be a dope lineman. I'm just saying, get absorbed you. Honestly, I think linebacker. Let's go linebacker real quick. Is Stutzman still there? If Stutzman's still there, I'll probably end up taking him. He's not. He's gone. Okay. Running back. I think my favorite running back in this draft, Ollie Gordon, is there, and I'm absolutely
in love with that. Scadaboo.
Dylan Sampson's good. Is Scadaboo still on the board?
No, unfortunately.
I like Scadaboo. He's one of my top 5 running backs, actually. Just he doesn't have speed, and that's why he's going to fall in the draft, just because he doesn't have speed.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not on the board, though, right? I don't see him. So, Ollie Gordon. I mean, we got the O-line now, Ollie Gordon. And I'm assuming Mason's gone. Like, let's just assume Mason's gone. So we do have a need at running back here.
So you're going Ollie Gordon, you're saying? Or?
Yeah, I like Majors is not it's between Majors and Ollie Gordon. That's what it's definitely between. But I guess we got this is hard, man. But we signed Drew Dahlman, so I guess we don't really need it. So Ollie Gordon. Let's go Ollie Gordon. I like him a lot. Okay. Yeah, we got the running back steal. Yeah, baby. We got the running back I love.
I thought Majors was there because I thought it was our pick.
Oh shit. So 189. All right. This is
where
we're gonna get like people. This is where we're gonna like unknowns. We're gonna look up speed.
Okay, we just took a running back.
Dylan Sampson would have been a good option there too. So Dylan Sampson and Ollie Gordon would be good. If this was a draft, if this was a mock draft with Poggy, he'd be so upset that I took Ollie Gordon over Sampson. He'd be throwing such a fit right now.
If I know who this guy is. Hold up. Mm-hmm.
Johnny Walker from Missouri. Edge.
Is he any good?
I think he's all right. I actually don't think he's that bad.
I don't know much about him. I haven't really done as much homework on most guys this year.
But what position were you thinking that you'd want at this point? Because we got
D-line or edge. D-line or edge. Probably defensive tackle.
Probably D tackle if anything if you want to go because we got 2 edges already. And also keep on Shamir Stewart can play inside. And he's a run stopping edge. I'm really bummed we picked Shamir Stewart. I'm sure you know that, but I'm super bummed we picked him over Jack Sawyer. I'm hurt. I'm hurt so bad.
Joshua Former, man, he is huge. Farmer. That guy is humongous.
Yeah, we're a little bit far back than I've studied.
Yeah.
But running back 139 is okay as long as you didn't trade up to get him. Yeah. It was between him and Sampson for sure. Because Sampson's super fast. He's the fastest running back in this draft. So he might actually more potentially go to the 49ers.
I heard someone talking about Joey Skullman recently. Hold
up. Real quick, check to see if my steel wide receiver is still there. Savea Williams from TCU. I love that wide receiver. He's gonna be an absolute steal. I'm sure he's not there, but no, he's not there. Okay. He's 6'5", fast. He can do it all. He plays running back, wide receiver, sometimes tight end. I don't know why he's not talked about more.
I'm going to just go with T.Y. Hamilton.
T.Y. Hamilton? The D tackle from Ohio State? No, you can't go on with Ohio State. I mean,
all right, you're next. What's this? All right, here we go.
We are going to go at this point. We've got to go outside trenches now at this point. And I think we got the running back we need, tight end. We got safety. We could use a corner. So what kind of corners we got left? Man, there's not that many left. How tall is Parrish from Kansas State? If he'll say 5'10", no.
Slot looking dude.
I was thinking more like a tall guy. I want like a Richard
Hey
Sherman
guys, let's purchase Miles.
Parrish. I've actually heard about Parrish. His name sounds familiar. I'm not gonna lie to you. Miles Purchase. I thought you were just saying that like some sort of like pro thing you can get for the game. But no, it's actually a person. That's funny. What pick is this? Like the 7th or 6th round pick?
228. So
let's go to what kind of kickers are left?
Oh gosh. Undrafted.
Who? You got Tyler Loop from Arizona, your guy there. I'll let because we got one more pick after this, don't we? Or is this the last pick? Yeah, we got 2 more picks.
We got one more.
I'll let you. I would have picked Andres Barragals.
Oh, I know they've worked them out too.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of go with, and it's just a 7th round pick, so I wouldn't care too much about that. Stout is worth a late picks. It's Terradome. Stout. I think he's on defense. We can get a Shiloh Sanders. We can get what's his name's son.
Where's Stout?
I don't see Stout on here. What position does Stout? He plays corner.
Oh, okay.
Corner.
Upton
Stout. What's his size? Dude.
Yeah. No.
Dude, oh no, we'll pass. I'm sorry. I know.
All right, come on.
All right. I'll pick one. Okay, so what's the Safety, we're going that. Ja'Cory Brooks. I mean, we do need depth at wide receiver. Honestly, just because Jacob Parrish does sound familiar, but like I think I liked him. I could be wrong, so let's just go with Jacob Parrish, corner from Kansas State.
Okay. Alrighty, and with the last pick out of, well, is he even there? Yes, he is. Okay, in the
Someone
last
took
pick of the
it.
49ers draft, we are taking kicker from the U of A, Bear Down, Arizona, Tyler Loop. And Tyler Loop, dude, he can kick like 56 yarders.
Can he? Or are you just
Yeah.
spitting hot fire just because he's part of your squad?
No, I'm not kidding, actually.
All right, let me look at his stats real quick. Look at the stats. Wildcats place kicker from Arizona. All right, so he's in 2024, 18 for 23 in field goals. He's 1 for 2 for 2029, 20 and 29, 30 to 39. He's 4 for 4, 7 for 8, 40 to 49. He is 6 for 9, 50 plus, and his longest make was 62 yards. So he does have a leg, but he did miss 2 extra points.
Yeah.
So he's got a leg, and that's it, really. Like he's got a leg. I don't know, brother. I don't know. But hey, it's the last pick of the draft. I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna cry about it. I'm not gonna be like, you need to get my guy.
I'm sorry, I had to put in an Arizona guy. I was hoping Tatarua McMillan drops at 11, but that didn't end up happening.
Oh, he did. He was there. I just didn't draft him
yeah.
because it was not a need. I did not. I was like, I just got done talking about how it's not a need, and we got the things.
Damn it.
He's a generational wide receiver, man.
David?
Don't get me wrong. Like that would have been great. That was someone I really wanted to draft, but I was like, I just got done talking about how that's not something we need to get. So I can't just be a hypocrite at that point and contradict everything I said and just draft him just because he's generational. And Mason Graham is supposed to be one of the best. Like he's supposed to be like a top 5 D tackle in the future. So
fair enough.
not the end of the world.
Let's save this mock.
But I was disappointed you got Shamir Stewart over Jack Sawyer. That really broke my heart. I think he's like a late 3rd, early 4th round pick kind of type guy.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I don't know much about this draft. My thing is, I don't even know if I want to really scout that much because I'm like, they're not even going to end up being on the Niners more than half of these guys. At the end of the day, only like 10 or 11 guys are going to end up, being
10 picks
drafted by.
Well, yeah, but it's more like the excitement of like potential, not just your guy getting there, but like if you see how good he does in the league in the future, you'd be like, hey, I believe in that guy, and that was a guy that I want. And stuff like that. And then when you do mock drafts, for example, too, like that's content, and that causes you to be like, okay, I know this guy's good, so we should get him here. So it works for mock drafts, which we're content creators, so it helps with like the month, 2 months up until we draft. And not only that, you get that enjoyment, be like, I believed in this guy, and it helps with your ball knowledge of in the future of being like, oh, this guy was in this draft, he did this, I liked him.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, fair.
Sometimes watching film, I have to spread it out because I'm not. Terradome's more the film junkie, but I'm more have to spread it out. Like,
yeah, there's just too many players, man. Like,
there's a lot. You got to scout.
No, we did not. Yeah, we did not trade Debo. We decided not to do trades in this draft. Maybe next week.
If you can get a 3rd for Debo, do it right now. Like, don't wait. If you can get a 3rd for Debo, let's do it.
I need a 200. Kenny always coming right at the end.
Wall systems depend on high percentage time passes. The better you know the playbook, the better it runs. We're going retro passing game. Retro passing game.
Just do it.
Classic.
Correct. Go subscribe.
Just do it.
Yes, sir. Alrighty, but guys, that is gonna be it. What a long episode, an hour 9, hour 20, here with my guy Wolfie. We'll be back next week. Make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. You got any shows coming up?
I'm probably gonna end up going live tomorrow. If not tomorrow, I'll probably go live on Thursday. Just talk about the latest 49ers news, talk more about the Debo thing because that's what's hot right now, and then just keep up with what's happening. I might do a mock draft myself because I've done nothing but mock drafts with Poggy. And then obviously I've never done one just by myself. And people love mock drafts. I like doing them. They're fun. And people get engaged with it a lot too. So, and hopefully maybe do a show with Terror Dome soon and probably do a mock draft thing.
That'd be
It's mock draft
sick.
season. So.
Yeah, Terradome's
Probably jump into edge free agents because I haven't done that. I've done D tackle and O line so far.
Nice. Alrighty. So yeah, guys, go make sure to check
about
out
you, man?
Wolfie.
What do you got going?
I think the link in there. For me, I am doing a Thursday show with my guy Jason Capter, Niners Snashy, as always. By the way, I might be looking for someone to possibly do a Monday or Wednesday show with. So if anybody's interested, like Terradome, David, anybody else, let me know over on Instagram or Twitter, 49er Media. But yeah.
Do it, guys. This guy's working hard, man. He's going to be a great content creator, guys. Do it.
Appreciate
Pull the trigger.
it.
Hook him up.
Just,
get it Monday,
just
Wednesday.
like Papa J just said. Just
do it.
Alrighty, guys. That is going to do it.
All of fam.
Peace.